Hello friends, I hope all of you are doing great. Today I'll be sharing how I use my leftover paints in my new paintings and also the basics of swipe and balloon smash techniques. Basically with leftover paints, usually we have a variety of colors and some are in very small quantity. So we can use them in swipes and balloon smashes to give colorful abstract fluid art. This is also the pour that I did before using the leftover paints, and I am providing the card above for this process. And the main idea is laying different color paints on top of each other, laying the paints randomly so we have many colors overlapping and in couple of layers. The paint should not be too thin and not too thick to form the puddles. So they should not be forming the puddles and they should not be watery thin. And usually I add silicone in each color before adding it onto the canvas. Once all the colors are laid down, I move the canvas to cover it all over. For the swipes, use the high contrast color, and in this case I'm using black. And for the paint that you are swiping with, please keep it little thinner as compared to other paints laid down on the canvas. In this case, I have not added any silicone in my swiping color, and I'm using this broken spatula here for the swipe. While swiping, the idea is just to glide the swipe paint onto the surface of the other paints very gently. If we push too hard, then the paints underneath will get scraped and the canvas will show up. The gliding of the swipe paint is what leads to the cells, and silicone in the colors underneath, they start to surface up, and the top swipe layer paint separates to show the bottom paints. And here is also a link to video in the cards where I compare the result of swipes using different tools. The last 2 minutes of the video has comparison of the swipes using different tools like a broken spatula, a paper towel, and a plastic sheet. And if you are just starting with, then it is very important that you can do a sample test before you move on to the big canvas, so that you get a feel of how different swipes with different tools will look like, and you can move more confidently onto the big canvas. And also at that time you will know what color combinations are working for you. Definitely we need to experiment a few times before we move on to the actual bigger canvas. It saves a lot of paint and a lot of time, and we get the confidence too. And here the black is the dominant color, and we can re-swipe the areas again to dull the effects of the black paint. Just make sure not to scrape the paint hard. And balloon smash or kisses is another technique that leads to colorful pours. When the balloon is touched hard on the surface, the bottom layers are revealed, leading to beautiful patterns beneath. And paint should be little thicker for the balloon smashing, or else the paint colors, they will merge and cause muddy effects or the muddy paints. And before doing a balloon smash, you can definitely wait for a few minutes to maybe half an hour or maybe 1 hour if the paints are too thin, and press firmly, and it should create that sound of a kiss. Because if you just press lightly onto the surface, then only the top layer will get moved, and it will cause muddiness, and the patterns below, they won't show up. So it is important to press it little firm. And the idea is, as I said before, to have different multicolors underneath and layers on top of layers, because when you do the balloon kiss, the different colors will show up, they will merge together and the patterns will show up. And if you can check this video here, the balloon kisses, they turned out very good, and this is also with the leftover paint. One thing is, if you have added silicone to all the paints, then when the silicone touches the canvas, it is going to leave these bald spots on the canvas, and this is because of the silicone touching the canvas and revealing the canvas underneath. So in this case, you can definitely repaint on top. This in itself is looking good, and if I want, I could have just stopped over here and varnished it once it was dry, but I saw a lot of flower patterns in this, and it seemed like it is a reflection painting. So once this painting was dry, I definitely outlined using all the colors that I used in the paint, not any medium mixed in, just water and acrylic paints. I started giving definition to some of the flowers and patterns that I saw in the painting. And so the flowers, they turned out very good. And also the bottom one seemed like reflections in water, reflection of the foliage and the flowers in water. And I accentuated that by just adding or giving it a feel of water by adding white and silvery lines and smudging it. I could have made it more realistic, water ripples and more of the reflections, but just decided to keep it abstract and just give an idea that it's a reflection. So I just stopped over here, and I felt satisfied with this pour and the embellishments. And definitely I would like to know your views, how you liked this. And also, if you like the contents of the channel, then please support me and do subscribe to the channel, and share the video if you liked it. And I will see you soon in the next video. Take care. Bye.